Fellow tennis nerds, in Båstad, we've made some observations about pro player rackets here, and also in the rest of the world, Tsitsipas testing his Blacked-out Wilson racket. It's not an Aero 98, it's something brewing in the Wilson lab, so that's going to be quite interesting. Also, Khachanov is playing with something that's going to be new, probably out next year, not quite sure about that, but we've seen some other switches as well, and other maybe a little bit peculiar testing sessions and ideas from the players. Even the very successful ones are trying to get more power, more forgiveness, more something, right? As you know, guys, I'm here with Henrik, and we're going to talk about the pro player rackets. If you start with Lorenzo Musetti, one of the most fun players to watch based on technique, in my opinion. What do you think about him testing a speed? And I would assume it is maybe Jannik Sinner's speed. Do you think that would suit him? That's the kind of racket?
He's having the best season of his life this season. If I was him, I wouldn't like trying rackets. I would stick with what works. He has been playing some really solid tennis. Impressive run during the spring, summer. What is he endorsing? Boom Pro?
Boom Pro, but plays Extreme Tour.
Extreme Tour.
As far as I know.
Maybe he wants some... I actually don't know. I think his game is pretty well suited to the Extreme Tour mold. It's like inflation when people are using the Sinner racket, the Alcaraz racket, they want to duplicate their stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I think he will fare better with his extreme mold actually.
Yeah, and this might also be a quick test. We don't know. I mean, we've seen some images or like videos online, and it might be that he's just curious and wants to try it. But yeah. Obviously, he's had the best season of his career. Bit unlucky with injuries, as he often is. But overall, like the career is trending in the right direction, so testing new rackets not usually advised, I would say. In Stefanos' case, it's a little bit more like he needs to find some calm, and maybe he can do that with this new blacked-out frame, which is also something Colton Smith, who used to use an Aero 98, is now using. So Wilson, I think they're trying to do something new here, trying to get some really interesting players like Colton Smith, who is highly talked about by many. And one guy that you've been in contact with, yesterday we saw his match. Was it 2 days ago when he sadly lost? Was a tough opponent, Botic van de Zandschulp. And after the match he gave away all his rackets. What happened there, you think?
I know that he's been testing quite a lot, so I would say I think he will try to find something that gives him a bit more power. And we talk about Mikael Ymer. He's been using the Blade Pro 1619 or Blade. Some kind of Blade 1619, 340 swing weight, brings it fairly tight. He's a grinder, he needs some bit more power, I would say. So I think he will try some new stuff. Otherwise he wouldn't have given up his Blade. He was giving out them to the crowd. It looked pretty Kyrgios Bublik style of action. I think the kids that got them, they were in seventh heaven. So it will be interesting to see what happens with his choice of rackets now when he's been giving up his rackets.
Yeah, he definitely needs something new, because then that's the rackets he had, I guess, right? So we will see what he comes up with, maybe with your help, if we can talk to you a bit. Marcus Giron made a switch, according to some sources, from the Percept 9070, which is an 1820 97th range racket, quite control-oriented, to a 100D. Which is what Carousel used to use before he switched now to the TF40 1820. So they're going different directions, these two guys, who are friends on the tour. What do you think about this move, like getting a bigger head size, but an 1819 string pattern in this case?
The Percept 100D is a racket I have never tried, unfortunately. So
which is rare, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a racket I really want to try, but it was pretty hard to get in Europe. Before. Now it's available, but that's a racket I personally want to try. I've only tried the 100. The only downside with that one was that it felt a bit slow in the air, a little bit bulky, so to say, and it was difficult to control the ball. With the 18-19 string pattern, I think that's a really good option. I know your guy Carousel, he was using that and had really good success with that racket. Could give him some extra power on the serve and ground strokes, some bit more help out in the corners. The 97 1820, that's a really advanced, difficult racket with a small head sweet spot. So I think this could see an improvement in his performance actually. I think that is a good move for him, but as I said, I have not tried the 100D, so yeah, we'll see.
It's a little bit of a clunky racket to me, but I understand if you're like Walmart Agassi, which Karu sometimes jokingly calls himself. It's a good stick, you know, you get good stability and you can redirect. But like maybe like a Gravity Pro, you kind of need to play one style, you know, you can't just play like drop shots and be a free creative player. You need to play like that baseline, very steady game. And we've seen some ultra moves, meaning that some players are moving over to the ultra. Deminar obviously played a blade, but he endorsed the blade. He actually played a Steve 99 1619, slightly different than the 1618. So he will now be playing the Ultra 99 Pro, but with his custom string pattern 1619, which makes a lot of sense. We have Qinwen Zheng endorsing the Ultra as well. I'm not sure if she's going to stick to her Tour 95 or going to move to a new racket. This will be quite interesting to see. Could be a good move for Wilson to get more Ultra players overall, really. They might need that. And we've also seen Medvedev, of all people. I mean, he's been on and off with strings, testing some different rackets, different T-fights. And now we've seen him with a TFX1, besides a new cosmetic that they're going to release, but a TFX1 which will change name in the next generation. I won't say what because I guess Technifiber maybe wants to keep it a little bit secret, so let's play ball with them. But he's definitely testing to get more power in his game, which is quite unorthodox and quite a fun game to watch, but he's not had any success really in terms of winning titles for 2 years now. So what do you think, Henrik? Like, is it the right move for him to go for more power, or that's not the issue here? What do you think?
I think he has been lacking some firepower in his game, so I think actually a TFX1 could be good for his game. Now everyone is a good ball strikers. He cannot just out-hit guys these days.
One guy we watched and were quite impressed by, and we're not quite sure. I mean, I thought he was playing one Prestige, and I think you agreed, but then I heard from some customizers he's playing PT57A, but that's Camilo Hugo Carabelli from Argentina. Good energy on the court, managed to turn around a match against Botic.
Vamos!
Big Vamos energy, yes, and they had an interesting little bit of an thing with Cristian Garin, Chile, Argentina, and not the warmest of handshakes maybe, but this is tennis. We need a little bit of aggro as well. They cannot all love each other like Sinner and Alcaraz. So what do you think? Like a player like that, playing, grinding on the clay, doing it well, moving really well, doesn't have the biggest ball strike, but it's very consistent. Is like a, let's say it's a PT57A then, is that the right move? Like a 95, 18, 20?
Not for him. I would say that he should use like, let's say he will use like an Aero 98 or something. He would get so much more spin out of his forehand. He would get so much more bite on the ball out in the corners. Sometimes when he's on the move on the forehand and he's trying to like loop his forehand up, then he gets very short with the ball and it all often lands up in the net as well, like there is no power. He plays with a very, very demanding racket. It must have been like a PT57A or something, or yeah, it was a 95, 1820 with the Prestige paint and pretty tight strings. It felt, we had it in our hand and it felt like it was pretty light as well. The balance was pretty headlight. Mm-hmm. So he has to really like work to get power on every shot.
Yeah, he works hard, but he's kind of forced to work hard as well. Yeah. It's always a question whether you should work less hard with the risk of having some flyers. But obviously people want to swing out freely, but there's always this kind of like balance you want to have. You want to have the balance of getting some free depth, so you don't have to give yourself throw yourself into every single rally, right? Like that's kind of how he plays. Yeah. And with like a guy like Botic, who's a big guy and hits huge shots, he uses an Aero 100. So it's kind of an interesting contrast to see their styles. And
it was pretty interesting to see. Botic has never been my favorite player. I think his energy is pretty. He's not like the energy. He's not giving so much energy. But I was really, really impressed. He's almost in my size in the length, 20 kilos lighter though. But he moves very well for being such a big player. Plays pretty intelligent tennis as well, extremely good ball striking, could maybe get out more of his serve. He has a pretty like Berrettini style grip, but I think he could have more power in his serve. But I was really impressed by how he was moving. He's also playing with the Aero 100, and the Aero 100 I feel has more control than the Aero 98, strangely, but that's how it is. is more dense in the center, and you get really good control. I think that the Aero 100 is actually a very underestimated racket.
Yeah, it's used by some pros, and I think a lot of them were happy to switch to the 2023. It's not just a cosmetic. I think, like in Baltic's case, it is the denser pattern. It's not the 2016, which was more open, and firmer, or the 2019, which had the same pattern. This 2023 was an excellent, like the 98, very, very good racket.
Yeah, it is a really good racket, and it will be interesting now when the new Aero is coming out next year. See what they are doing for changes, but it's a good. I think that's one of the most successful lines from Babola ever. This 2023 Aero 198. They are really good rackets.
Yeah, for sure, and interesting to see them used on the Pro Tour, because you usually think that it's too powerful or it's like maybe too light in some cases, but I think some of them play them pretty close to stock, right? And he's not alone playing the Aero 100 either, so I know some other players that use it on a high level.
Yeah, we notice more and more that players are actually not like over-specced. They are not using like super heavy swing weights anymore. It's just a few players, the very top players, are using like 360, 370 strung swing weight. Now it tends more like players are using 325 to 340 swing weight strung.
Yeah,
and closer and closer to 300 grams as well. So and that's not so strange, because the players of today, that's the racket they were growing up with.
Yeah,
the players using the PT57s, that's players that used them 20 years ago. But the player of today, they have been used to the lighter pure Aeros, pure drives, extreme MPs and stuff like that. So they are using lighter rackets.
Yeah, I think it's a trend that is not just a trend, because as players retire with very high swing weights, Novak still 360 swing weight, of course, in a 95, we will not see many players play super high swing weights. Like, Sinder's racket is relatively light, but has a little bit of a beefier swing weight. Carlitos' racket, relatively light, a little bit lower swing weight even, and I think most players are just not really going above 340, sometimes not even 330, even like Taylor Fritz, around 330 in a 95. So you need to be able to swing it fast these days. I think that's really important.
Swing speed, racket head speed is more important than sheer mass and force of the racket, so to say. The level of the tennis right now is extremely good.
Yeah.
Everyone is a good ball striker these days. Everyone can hit the ball. Even if you're ranked like 1200 in the world, people that are not like seeing that kind of tennis live, they don't understand how good every pro player are.
Yeah.
They are the level. It's insane. It's like they are so much better than the recreational player that it's almost absurd. It's beyond belief how good the modern professional tennis player is.
I think it's a good wake-up call for some club players or happy tennis nerds that it's a long road up to being a good tennis player. I mean, we all know that from a personal experience, and the amount of work that these guys put in on a daily basis, in the gym, on the court, eating correctly, not drinking, it's not going to be, it's going to be light years away from a club player. So kudos to all the pros battling out there. And it's really a war zone, like to climb up the rankings and become like a top 200 player. It's so difficult, like it's insanely difficult.
You saw yesterday, for example, Andrea Pellegrino from Italy.
Yeah.
He's like a journeyman more, ranked around 140 in the world, extremely fit. He's like a Greek god or Italian god in his body, and he's working so hard. He had 5 match points against Talon Grigspor, and lost. And the day after, he's back in the gym and working out. We saw like Ugo Carabelli.
Camilo Ugo Carabelli.
He looks like a Spartan warrior in his body. His thighs are so. Everything is just pure muscle. They are so professional. They are so good, the players today. It's hats off, and just keep on doing, because they are taking the tennis to another level that we have not seen. Even the lower ranked players are amazing warriors out there. So hats off to the guys and girls that are putting in the hard work. And
like we mentioned on the podcast many times, I mean, there's always a risk for a high ranked player, like a top 50, top 30, whatever, to lose to a 200 ranked player. Like we just saw Nuno Borges 3 match points against Filip Misolic. Misolic is 100 something, very good player, super solid, great technique, joy to watch. Nuno Borges, obviously higher ranked, won here last year,
Yeah.
still loses first round, like
Yeah.
his first round here. And because you can never relax, like he had three match points, he had a set and a break up,
Yeah.
but Misalic not going away,
No.
and suddenly it's one set all, and then he loses the third set. So
Yeah.
no player can relax or be like, oh, I'm going to beat this guy easily. That doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't happen. Even if you are playing a player ranked 400 in the world and you're 50, you cannot relax against a player
No.
of today, because they are so match tough. They have been playing so much matches. They are warriors. It's their livelihood. So
Yeah, gladiators.
Gladiators.
So those are some new spots on the racket circuit. Thanks to all of you who send these spots to me on Instagram and other channels. We love it, and it's always fun to talk about this. Obviously, does not mean that the solution is always the racket. The solution is usually somewhere else, but it's fun to see that the pros are also going crazy with rackets like we've been for many years.
yeah, we love it. We just keep on going. You change rackets between sets as we do.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
It's great fun to see the confusion and the madness, but it's not recommended for any tennis player, really. Thanks, Henrik, for chatting with me.